Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Shnappy, or you can call me Blake. Today I'm going to be getting into my competitive PC and controller settings for you guys. I've watched tons and tons of videos on YouTube trying to figure out what each and every individual setting actually does, and I did the same thing on Vanguard as well. That's when I actually got my PC, and then I got an upgrade for MW2. So now we're here, and I've had a little bit of experience playing around with these settings, so I hope you guys can get something out of this. First of all, we're gonna go to controller settings. I don't know keyboard and mouse. If you're a keyboard and mouse, you're gonna have to look that up or find somebody else. So first of all, with the controller, since I do play on paddles, which are just these on the back. This is the Xbox Elite controller. I do play with Control Freaks, as you can see. But first thing that we want to do is you want to turn off your controller vibration. That's because when you're shooting your gun and you're mid gunfight and your controller is vibrating, it's shaking your dead zone like this, and it's just a slight little thing that I have a problem with. But I mean that's pretty much for every competitive game. Here we're going to go down to the sensitivity multiplier. I don't really adjust any of that. Vertical aim axis, don't adjust any of that. All of this is fine until we get down to automatic sprint. Now, what you're going to want to do is click on automatic tactical sprint, and what that does is that it makes it to where you don't have to mash down your left analog stick to actually sprint. So all you have to do is just go like that. So you don't have to actually press it down into the thing, and that over time is going to take care of your actual controller, making it last longer, and it's just going to be easier to move around in the game. Now I will say not a lot of people know this, but when you do put this setting on, when you're coming up out of your prone, so let's say your character is prone, when you're coming up out of your prone character and you're sprinting, you are going to want to mash it down, because if you try to just move it up, so let's say just like that, you're going to be a little bit slower off the ground whenever you're prone. Alright, all of this is good. Let's go to the advanced. You want your aim assist on, of course. I've been playing on default. I've been hearing a lot of things about Black Ops. I was playing on Black Ops earlier, but I did hear that they had nerfed it, so I put it back on default. But you can switch between those two and see what you like best. I play on dynamic, of course. And here we go. Yeah, you can leave all of this the same pretty much. Now, dead zone, I do play on 0.02, so that is a very low dead zone, but I did just get this controller not too long ago, so my controller analog stick is completely healthy. And if you guys don't know what this is, basically your dead zone is the sensitivity of your analog stick, like how you can see here. So if you do have an old controller, you're gonna want to move this to the right more. Of course, you're not going to want it to be anywhere up here. You're going to want to stay in between, 0 to 15, I would say. And anything past that, you're really just hurting yourself, because you have to move the analog stick so much before you see, any sort of reaction. All of this you can leave the same. And I think that's it for controller. Now onto the graphic settings. Now there's a lot to get into here, but I'm just gonna quickly go over it. So we have full screen exclusive. Make sure your screen refresh rate is on the max it can go for your monitor. And this should all be automatically displayed. Dynamic resolution, turn that off. You don't need it. VSync, turn that off. Your custom frame rate. So this depends on you know, how many hertz your monitor is gonna get. So me personally, my monitor gets around 165 hertz. So I keep my gameplay custom frame rate limit at 170. That's so that I can have at least a, you know, a 1-to-1 ratio with my hertz and FPS. Now you can go 2-to-1, but for me to do that, I would have to have 360 or just like 320 something FPS, which I don't. 170 is good; it makes it 1-to-1. But I'm just saying, like, if you had, let's say, a 120 hertz, or no, a 60 hertz monitor with a you know, 120 frames, that would work as well. It minimizes screen tearing, and it also just doesn't waste your PC's energy when you do that. Because when I go over, let's say I go to you know, 250, and let's say I'm running 250 frames, but I only have a 165 hertz monitor, I'm not actually going to be able to see the frames on the screen because the frames are faster than what my monitor can display. So that's pretty much you know, why I do that. And yeah, it just saves a little bit on your PC too. And I have the menu 75, and then when I'm tabbed out, it's 30. It just saves a lot of energy for your PC. Brightness, I put this on 55. I really like how it looks. I have my monitor brightness all the way up to, so you're just going to have to play around for that one. HDR, turn that off. And then we go to the quality. If you do have an NVIDIA, I found that NVIDIA image scaling works really well. One, because you can customize it in your actual NVIDIA interface. I'm not going to show you how to do that now, but if you don't have this, I would go with Fidelity Cast, and you can turn this all the way up, or I would say 90 to 100. And that's going to give you that clean, that cleaner look instead of that, you know, blur. Okay. Video memory scale. This is your VRAM. I personally have a lot to spare. Like, I have 32 gigabytes, so I always, you know, max this out. Texture resolution, I put it on normal. You know, you can see everything pretty much fine with the normal texture resolution, so I don't see any point in going high. You're just going to end up losing frames. I'll let you screenshot all of these. Now, all of these are optimized to have the least amount of shadows and the most amount of clarity within range. So if you're looking down sight at somebody, you should be able to see you know, their character with high, you know, clarity with these settings. And you're going to want to turn on-demand texture streaming off. Terrain memory. Oh, did not mean to click that. Actually, don't click that if you're going in that. Let me get back. Okay. Tessellation, you're going to want off 100%. And I would say two important ones are distant level of detail, high, and nearby level of detail doesn't matter. But make sure your distant level of detail is really high, because that's how you're going to see distant objects. Streaming quality, normal, it doesn't really matter. To turn this water caustics off, and your deferred physics quality on low. Volumetric quality, it's okay, it doesn't do that much, but I just put that on medium. But I found that the game looks really well with these off, and still performs, you know, extremely high. Oh, we're already getting on close to 10 minutes on this recording. All right, let me speed this up. All right, so of course all low shadows, and then we have spot cache. You want to keep this high, depending on, you know, the size of the cache that you can take. I'm pretty sure that has to do with your VRAM. Yeah, it is, your VRAM. So if you do have a lot of RAM, then go ahead and, you know, crank this up. But if you're working with limited RAM, then I would put that on medium or low. You know, leave all this normal. turn ambient occlusion off, depth of field off, motion blur off, another motion blur off, film grain 0.25, and then we move on to the next settings. Okay, so I like to play on 115 FOV. I find that 120 is a little bit weird to look around and shoot people, but 115 for me feels the best. It feels like I can see anybody across the entire map, but also be able to see some of those angles that are hard to get, around corners, around walls, and it gives me a wide perspective, but also enough to where I can see anybody across the map, which is the most important. I play on effective, of course. Wide weapon field of view actually makes your gun smaller. Third person all the way up, and you want to put these on least, so that way you don't get a ton of like camera movement whenever you're playing, because that's gonna actually limit you. Alright, I'll let you guys do your own audio settings, because I would just say do the headphone bass boost. That's how you hear footsteps the best, but anything beyond that, it's really up to you guys. And then we'll get into the last thing, which is the interface, and this one is probably one of the most important things. So you're gonna want to keep all of this default if you'd like, but the color customization, you're gonna put it on filter 2. I'm gonna put the filter target on both, so not only does it do the world, so your map, but it also does the interface, like the menus as well. So I put that on both, world color intensity all the way up, and same thing for interface. Now my HUD color palette is custom. I do like to change around the settings and the colors quite frequently, because it gives the game sort of a fresh feeling. So I'm always switching this up. This doesn't really matter. Just feel free to get creative with it, and also I would say make sure that if you're gonna change the enemy color, make sure you stick with red, orange, pink, and maybe purple, because I wouldn't go blue or green with the enemies. Actually, I've tried green and it was okay, but I think red or orange or pink is a better color for the enemies. Now the next thing is that you're gonna want to have your horizontal heads up display at 0. Now what this is gonna do is gonna move your mini map, the kill feed, any sort of heads up display. It's going to move it horizontally closer in towards the center of the screen. And why that is so important is because now I don't have to look all the way up to the top left corner for my mini map. I can actually have it, scooted closer towards the middle. That way I don't have to move my eyes as far away from the center of the screen. It really helps with competitive when you're looking back and forth all the time. For the telemetry, it's just the FPS and latency up at the top left corner. If you guys want that, go ahead and turn that on. And that is going to be it. Make sure you have the center dot on. It helps me out with centering a lot, just for competitive. But yeah, that is going to wrap up the controller and graphics settings for PC gamers, specifically competitive. So give these settings a try. I know I've been getting a lot of comments lately asking for a settings video, so that's actually why I'm making this video now. I just hope you guys can take away something. I really like how my game looks. I really like how it feels. I feel like this is the most optimized, setting conglomerate that I could come up with, and I just hope that you guys can learn something from this, and you won't have to watch another settings video after this. Thank you so much for you guys tuning in and watching all the way to the end. I will be coming out with more videos soon, and thank you for all the support lately on the shorts and everything. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you guys, and peace out.